Okay, today we're going to be discussing ADHD and how to support students with ADHD. So, what exactly is ADHD? ADHD stands for Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder, and it is when there is inattention and hyperactivity or impulsivity that interferes with a student's development and functioning in multiple different settings, which include schools. So, how do we categorize ADHD? IDEA categorizes it in a category called Other Health Impairments. ADHD does not have its own separate disability category. It is considered a subcategory of this Other Health Impairments category. So, in other health impairments, there are different characteristics and behaviors, which include limited strength, limited vitality, and limited alertness. So there's heightened alertness to different environmental stimuli. This results in limited alertness in the educational environment, like the classroom. And this can be due to acute health problems such as asthma, ADD, ADHD, diabetes, epilepsy, heart condition, hemophilia, and lead poisoning. So, of course, we're talking about the subcategory ADHD right now. The other ones are a totally different topic. So, the types of ADHD. You have predominantly inattentive, predominantly hyperactive impulsive, or you have combined predominantly inattentive and hyperactive impulsive. So, predominantly inattentive ADHD has characteristics, and you must exhibit difficulty with 6 or more of these characteristics. So paying attention to details, making careless mistakes. So this means you struggle with these things. You struggle with paying attention to academic and social activities. You struggle listening when someone speaks directly to you. You struggle following directions and finishing tasks. You struggle organizing tasks and activities. You struggle sustaining mental effort, and you struggle keeping track of necessary supplies. You struggle with avoiding distractions, and you struggle at remembering daily activities. Predominantly hyperactive impulsive characteristics that you must exhibit difficulty with 6 or more include keeping hands and feet still or staying still in your seat, struggle with staying seated, struggle with resisting running or climbing in inappropriate situations, so like running around in the classroom would be an inappropriate situation. Participating quietly in leisure activities, you struggle with these kinds of things. You struggle resisting being constantly on the go. You talk a lot. You blurt out answers prematurely. You struggle with waiting for your turn. And you struggle with interrupting others. A combined of those two is the most common one. It has features of both inattention and hyperactivity impulsivity. The characteristics include academic challenges, social challenges, and increased prevalence of both internalizing and externalizing behaviors. So who is affected? In the U.S., 7% of children are identified as having ADHD. Currently, it's approximately 2/3 of students identified in the category of other health impairments. So all those other health impairments that we talked about, like asthma, ADD, hemophilia, those things, ADHD takes up 2/3 of all of those options. So that's quite a lot. The rates of children with ADHD has increased by 30% since the year 1990. Boys are 3 times more likely to experience ADHD than girls are. And students with ADHD are less likely likely to be from diverse racial ethnic backgrounds, and they are more likely to engage in externalizing problem behaviors. Because of other existing disabilities that students may have with ADHD, they are often served under various other categories of learning disability as well. They're served with emotional or behavioral disorders and the intellectual disability. So how are these people affected? These people, compared with other students, students with ADHD, they have lower academic achievement, lower grade point averages, higher retention rates. They have lower vocabulary development, lower working memory, and lower reading achievement. The lower reading achievement is usually due to the lower working memory. They struggle with the ability to plan ahead. They struggle with organization of time and materials. They struggle to regulate positive and negative emotions. They have impairments in pragmatic language, which is like social skills, social communication. They struggle socializing with people, talking in social settings. They're just kind of socially awkward. So what are some of the causes of ADHD? ADHD can be hereditary, which means you get it from your parents. It comes from your family. So someone, like one of your parents may have had it. It can be just structural differences in the brain, so the makeup of your brain can just be a little bit different, causing ADHD. Or there can be environmental causes. So you can have prenatal causes, which would be exposure to cigarette smoke, lead, and alcohol. You have perinatal factors like low birth weight, and then you have postnatal causes like environmental toxins or a poor diet or low family income or child abuse and neglect. Those are all causes of ADHD that have been studied. So here's some tips to be successful with ADHD according to the book. So number 1, use your resources and advocate for your needs. Don't forget that there is help out there. Use your resources, and you need to speak up when you have needs. You need to be able to speak up for yourself. Find your joy or bliss and follow it. So find your thing. Like, what do you enjoy? What do you like doing? And follow that path. Go after that path. Work on acknowledging your growth areas and develop your own special ways of dealing with them. So try to figure out, like, where do you need help? Where do you need to grow? Where do you need to develop? And figure out what works best for you and how to deal with all of that. And never give up on your dreams, and view your mistakes as learning opportunities rather than personal failures. So always keep going. Always keep going. Never let something set you back. It's just an opportunity for learning, and just keep on going. So some effective interventions from the teacher in the classroom are to model acceptance and appreciation. This is for the students to be able to learn how to do that as well. The students that don't have ADHD, this way they can try to accept the students that do have ADHD. So if you're modeling that and you're appreciating that, then your students are more likely to do the same. Change students' seating arrangements. If they do better in a certain seating arrangement, then change their seating arrangement. Provide daily schedules of activities. It's good for students with ADHD to have like a list. What are we doing today? What time? What's next? It's good for them to be able to see that every single day. Teach students organizational and goal setting skills. So you want to teach them how to be organized, how to set goals and work towards those goals. You want to role play friendship skills. So this is something that you would do with all the students in the class. And this helps students with ADHD learn how to make friends and not be as socially awkward. So help students discover their strengths. So we want to encourage students and help them to figure out what they're good at and just go on from there, explore from there. Encourage group participation. So you really want to work with groups and include students with ADHD into these groups and really encourage that participation. You want to start with the small groups. You don't want to get too big and overwhelm the student. Encourage membership in a support group. So this would be other people with ADHD supporting each other. You want to encourage them to speak with people that also have ADHD. You want to use errorless learning procedures. So you don't want to set the student up for failure. You want them to be able to master a skill. So that's where errorless learning comes in. Arrange prompts that enable students to be successful. So you discuss with the student what's a good way for you to be prompted in order for you to be more successful. You would discuss that. Use goal attainment scaling for student to see their progress. So you really want to set goals and you want to show them on a scale so that they can physically see their own progress. You want to provide rewards on a periodic basis when they accomplish these goals. So it's good to reward these students based on their accomplishments. Other effective interventions from students is to pair students that tend to be accepting and have similar interests with students that have ADHD. Use modeled behaviors from the teacher. So if I am the teacher and I am modeling the behaviors of acceptance and things like that, then the students should be able to use that modeled behavior for acceptance as well. And peer tutoring interactions. So this is good for students to kind of help other students out. Their peer tutoring is, a peer helping another peer. So that concludes my discussion over ADHD. Thank you.